shit, that's what it is. I don't give a fuck about feelings or no fucking body. But she just said, Felix gotta get on his job. Got you a goddamn cat. This is what it is. I did not say that. Hey, I don't care what it is. What did I say? That shit is dumb. I've been having some back and forth shit with you every damn time, everything I say. Clean your shit up. I don't give a fuck who it is. This is me and you. That's it all. Everything we doing is fucking together. So get rid of that shit and we got it. Don't bother no. Don't you call me, don't touch that. Don't you ever say that to me when I mean this. Don't you ever say that to me when I mean it. Don't you call me, don't hit me up with your gun. Because you're solid with that shit. Sorry. Say trust you. God, first lady. You're the one called me the other day. Class fuck up. Got to go. To the people that moving slow, tell them down low.
All right, Shalom. Before I begin, I'd like to start out by giving all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh, and double honors to the apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders of the great millstone who teach this 100% truth. All right, pizza salutations to the Lord's elect. All right, today is January the 21st, 2026. All right, the year of the apostate. All right, the year of the agent, the year of the sellout. All right, the year of Jacob's trouble. All right, I'm the priest Yahweh Kani. All right, just wanted to put up a lesson right quick. This is inspired after watching, Elder Mata Zakbai, the elder out of South Carolina. I was watching the video he dropped earlier, dealing with this Harlot house madness. All right, and these, theatrics that these black people do in these churches, all right, these so-called black people, but you're not black, you're brown, but whatever. You want to be called black, we'll call you black. All right, you know, and how they get down in these Harlot houses, you know, and you know, it's what was the word they use? Heretical. All right, it's very much that. You know, it's a fucking fashion show. All right, it's a dance competition. You know what I'm saying? It's all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's everything except what Yahweh Shem Yahushai, all right, is for. All right, and the Lord don't dwell in temples made with hands. All right, as said the prophet. You know, that's Acts chapter 7 and verse 48. I'm gonna read that too. All right, but I'm going to read a couple of scriptures just showing, you know what I'm saying, the destruction that the Lord is going to bring on these 501c3 false prophets, all right, who call themselves Christian pastors and leading you Israelites to your demise ultimately, all right, and you're the ones of you that are being led to your said demise by said wicked pastors, all right, ultimately the Lord wants you there, all right, the Lord wants you in that spot, all right, because if you obtain the gospel that we teach, then the Lord could clean you up and heal you. But the Lord don't want to clean up and heal. All right, 2 out of 3 of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that reside over here in America. All right, He wants you right where you at. So when He comes back, all right, He can put the punishment on you. All right, with the sword. All right, the ICBM missiles as well as the laser beams from the chariots. All right, if you even make it up to that point, because a lot of you gonna die during Jacob's trouble. All right, which is right here at the door. So I'm going to read a couple of these scriptures, Lord willing, to be edifying. First one that I got up here is Jeremiah chapter 23, starting at verse 1. It says, woe, and we know woe means destruction. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pastor, saith the Lord. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, and again, you know, what's the best precept to go to is Job 12 and 16. With him is strength and wisdom, the deceived and the deceiver are his. So the Lord set up these wicked pastors, all right, to deceive you undesirable Israelites, and in the end, all right, both parties get destroyed, all right, and the Lord gonna use these congregation the congregation of these pastors to come against them in the end. All right, a lot of these pastors gonna get killed by they well, I don't want to use that word. A lot of these pastors are gonna get deleted by their congregation. All right, because you sold them lies. All right, you took their money. All right, you locked them in, closed the doors. All right, you've done all of that, and you sold them a dream. All right, a prosperity doctrine. You sold them all type of shit that they thought was all right gonna get them into heaven. All right, little did they know they was already going to heaven. If they're Israelite, all right, hell, even if they're a heathen, you know, you ain't going to hell. Let me say it that way, you know what I mean? You know, when spirits die, they return to the Father that gave them an era of peace. All right, even the wicked spirits, all right. But when you come back down to this earth, that's when you live out the judgment. All right, you know, and that's too high for a Christian to understand. You know, they truly believe that it's a man under the ground, all right, that rebelled against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua in the heavens, got cast out of heaven, and now he's under the ground, all right, tormenting wicked souls. All right, this is what they think, all right, you know what I'm saying? Cunningly devised fables, all right, as Apostle Gabor always goes into, you know. But our people, they eat it up, they digest it, all right, they fear that shit, you know. And that's how you know, as I was listening to Apostle Harriet today, that's how you know there was a man, a Jake man doctrine, all right, Greek mythology and all that different type of shit. You know, Jake made that up, you know what I'm saying? Storytellers, all right, and it just so happened that in this world, all right, it took root in 2/3 of our people, and you undesirables, all right, but, you know, the Lord is going to destroy, you know what I'm saying, you false pastors, and you congregational members of these false pastors, all right? Verse 3, it says, and I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries whither I have driven them, and I will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase, all right? And that's going on right before your eyes, all right? The temple of David is being built before your eyes. It's a spiritual temple, all right? It's not a temple made with hands that's going to be, you know what I'm saying, physically on this earth as a structure, all right? It is a structure because it's a body of men, but it's a spiritual body of men, all right? The house of David's, and we believe that's, you know, it begins with our apostles, our elder bishops and elders of the great millstone, the house of David. All right, and the Lord said he was going to gather us out of the countries where we were driven because, all right, the Israelites were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and the Israelite man, all right, laid seed amongst those nations he was scattered in. All right, and he brought forth children, all right, who looked like these other nations and all of that. And we got elect, all right, an unnumberable multitude of elect that's out here on these in these places, all right, and they're gonna be beamed up, all right, as well with the 144 and the 1/3 over here in America. All right. Let me see. Verse 4, and I will set up shepherds over them which shall feed them. All right, and the shepherds again, they go to our apostles, elder bishops, and elders of the great millstone. All right, our eyes have seen our teachers. All right, they weren't removed in the corner anymore, as the scripture said would happen, and they were seen on the internet. All right, YouTube. All right, starting back in the summer of 2007. All right, I was still in high school at that time. You know what I mean? But just saying, you know what I mean? That's how long this truth has been accessible as far as the internet is concerned, but it's been accessible going all the way back to the late 60s, all right? 1969, 1970 is when the truth came back to the earth through Abba Bivens, you know what I'm saying? Who's Elijah in the reincarnate. So continuing, it says, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, because the Lord gave us everything we needed, all right? You know, we got the fear of the Lord. All right, we got the names of the Lord to begin with. All right, the names. All right, you can't have anything without the name. That's the foundation. All right, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, all right, being his only begotten Son, our King. We got those names. All right, and with those names, you know, the Lord, you know, set up our shepherds, and now we're where we are today. All right, the truth is increased. You know, some things have, you know, been shown to our apostles that weren't necessarily shown to their teachers, but at the same time, you know, we're a body, and those men labors are not gonna go what's the word, unappreciated. You know, we got everything we need to attain what we need to attain right now in today's time. All right, so let me see, verse 5, it say, behold, the days come, said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and the king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. All right, and that's Yahweh Shai, you know, that's what he's coming to do. All right, establish righteousness on this earth. All right, and that begins with taking Esau, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, off of the throne. All right, Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. All right, and Jacob's world coincides with Yahweh Shai's world, which is the kingdom of heaven. All right, which will come down from heaven and take place on this earth. All right, after you know the destruction of America and the destruction of the land of Israel, because those two places are prophesied to be obliterated. All right, America's gonna be a desert. All right, never gonna know human life again. Only desert creatures gonna dwell in this place when the Lord is finished with it. And the land of Israel is gonna be built up. All right, by you heathens. That's part of your slavery. All right, you're gonna build up the kingdom of Israel. All right. So verse 6. It says, in his days, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. All right, because Judah, the Lord sprang out of Judah. You know what I'm saying? And Judah is the top tribe. All right, and the truth came first to Judah. All right, and then, you know, the northern kingdom, you know, follows suit. But that's the order of it, all right? In his days, Judah shall be saved, and Judah represents the so-called Negroes. But as a, you know, back to when we was in Rome and how they classified Judah, they classified Judah as the so-called Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right, that was the southern kingdom of Israel, which was the predominantly only tribes left. But you had some northern kingdom there as well. But you know they had already, all right. Once they got kicked out of the Holy Land, you know they had ended up going into captivity under the Assyrians, and following that captivity, the majority of them came over here to the Americas. All right, so it says again, in his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby he shall be called the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, our righteousness. All right, verse 7. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, All right, talking about the Passover. All right, which we still reverence and honor to this day. All right, that's a very spiritual and high holy day for us. All right, you know what I'm saying? The thing that Yahweh sent Yahweh Shah to do. All right, to get us out of there, because Yahweh Shah was that death angel that went through. All right, Egypt and slayed all the firstborns. All right, you know what I'm saying, and the sons and the cattle. All right. So it says the day is gonna come that they should no more say the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country. All right, America. You know what I'm saying? North America. And from all countries whither I had driven them. All right, the four corners of the earth. Because again, you got the unnumberable multitude. All right, and says, and they shall dwell in their own land. All right, that you heathens are gonna build up. All right, the kingdom of heaven. All right, you know what I'm saying? The slavery. That's what you nations' job is gonna be. All right, to build up our kingdom. All right, the same way we built up your kingdom, you're gonna build up our kingdom. All right, but it's saying this is gonna be the new Passover. All right, the deliverance from the land of the north is gonna be you know, something that's gonna be spoken of the same way we speak of the Passover today. All right, the Lord coming back on a giant chariot. All right, a so-called UFO, beaming up his elect. All right, you know, coming with the holy host of angels, you know, 20,000s and thousands of even more chariots. All right, to make war with these nations and their militaries. All right, to strike wicked, undesirable Israelites through. All right, with the laser beam out of the chariots. All right, all these things are gonna be taking place. All right, you know, that's how the Lord is coming to deliver his elect. All right, it's gonna be the greatest deliverance known to mankind. All right, so with that being how the Lord coming back, that means, you know, the hell that's gonna be taking place on earth is gonna be the worst time since known to mankind. And the scriptures say that. Let me get it right quick. Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. It say, "At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." All right, that he represents the elect. All right, the elect are gonna be saved out of this terrible time, a time like never was since it was a nation. That's that Daniel 12 and verse 1. It says, "And at that time, the time of Jacob's trouble, shall Michael stand up." Michael is the top angel under Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? So it says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people." All right, so the angels of the Lord are going to defend the elect. It say, "And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people, the elect, shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book." All right, those that were preordained before the earth was even made. All right, because the first fruits, all right, were, you know, with Yahushua in the beginning. All right, then you got the 1/3 who believe on the prophets and the, you know, the men of the Lord. So if you can believe on a prophet, you're gonna receive a prophet's reward, as the scriptures say. So the angels and the you know, the Lord, they're gonna protect the elect. All right, the scriptures even tell us now the angels encamp around those that fear the Lord. So and those that fear the Lord ain't gonna be in no harlot house. All right, because that's what that place is. All right, a house of harlots. Let me read this also in Acts 7 and 48. All right, it reads, excuse me, "Howbeit the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet." All right, so the Lord don't dwell in no temples made with no hands. All right, verse 49, "Heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. What house will ye build me, saith the Lord? Or what is the place of my rest?" You know what I'm saying? And they don't even got the name of the Lord. You know, they in a harlot house worshiping a whole nother God, all right, and thinking that they on the level. All right, they got their children indoctrinated in that madness, got their children. You seen look Keisha, all right. She already got that fucking dance down, all right, you know, that they do in them fucking churches, all right. This is Acts chapter 17 and 24. It says, "God that made the world and all the things therein, seeing that he is the Lord of heaven and earth dwelleth not in temples made with hands. All right, so there you go. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is dwelling within his 144, all right, his men, all right, and he's dwelling within those that can believe on his man. He ain't dwelling just in anybody, all right? You can't even, it's so cold. The Lord is so cold with this. You can't even choose to serve the Lord, all right? The Lord chooses who he wants to serve him, all right? That's why you niggas is in there serving Jesus. This is John 15 and 16. It's written in red, so this is Yahweh Shai speaking. It reads, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. All right, so there you go. You know, continuing, and ordained you. So the prophets, all right, were set up by the Lord, you know, before they even came out of their mother's womb. The Lord knew them and sanctified them and made them what they were. All right, but in Esau's word, you know, you niggas went to that seminary school. All right, got Esau's paperwork, Esau's approval. All right, and he let you go into these harlot houses, make your money. All right, give you government funds and all type of shit that go with it. As long as you you know what I'm saying, deceive the people, you good. All right, tax write-offs, tax exemptions, you know, all of that shit. But you gotta teach Jesus. All right, red Jesus. All right. John 15 and 16, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. All right, so you know, the Lord chooses who he wants to serve him. All right, he's in control of everything on this earth. Man's goings of the Lord. How can a man understand his own way? All right, so the Lord got you niggas going in the unacceptable way, and it's gonna lead to your demise. All right, I'm gonna get a couple more, then I'm gonna close it. All right, 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 3. It says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Verse 4, in whom the God of this world, all right, Esau, all right, had blinded the minds of them which believe not. All right, and these niggas is on the take. You know what I'm saying? These niggas, you can buy a nigga dirt cheap in today's time, all right? It don't take much to, you know what I'm saying, buy these niggas off. So again, in whom the God of this world had blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of Yahweh, should shine unto them. For we preach not ourselves, but what's that? Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, the Lord, and and ourselves your servants for Yahweh Shai's sake. All right, so we're just letting you know, back to verse 4. The God of this world, all right, has blinded these niggas, all right, and who is their God? Mammon. All right, money. All right, you know, I think that's what is that? Matthew. I want to say 6 and 24. Just thinking, yeah. Matthew 6 and 24, it says, and it's written in red, Yahweh Shai speaking as well. It say, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Yahweh Shai power and mammon. All right, and you see how these pastors live, all right? Even on the low level, you know what I'm saying? I can remember growing up seeing shit. All right, you know what I'm saying? The pastor that my mom used to go to church with and shit, she tried to get me and my brother into that shit. And you know what I'm saying? The pastor dude, he passed away now. But that nigga was the top janitor. All right, he was the top janitor for all of the schools in my city. All right, he was the #1 janitor. All right, show you how they keep Jake in his fucking place. All right, but he had his own church and shit, and he had a whole bunch of members and shit, nigga women for the majority. All right, but this nigga's a janitor, right? And this nigga had this back when them H2s was first coming out, them Hummers and shit. All right, and that nigga had a brand new Hummer, bro. I mean, I was like, you see this nigga Monday through Friday, he in a janitorial suit, all right, cleaning floors, cleaning up behind Esau. All right, and these punk ass kids of today. But on Sunday, all right, he the man with the plan. All right, he all up in the church. All right, with a $1,000 suit on. All right, in his brand new car. You know what I'm saying? Getting all these people money. Hey, he loved money, bro. And the Lord took him out in a bad way. I still remember how that dude. I ain't going into all that, but he died a fucked up way. All right, he couldn't even speak. anymore when the Lord took that nigga up out of here. He couldn't even talk no more. All right, and he wasn't talking nothing but a bunch of bullshit anyway, and that's why what happened to him, and that's why what's gonna happen to a lot of you, all right, 501c3 pastors, all right, it's gonna happen to you as well, all right. The Lord gonna get you niggas, man, all right, and your little congregation too, all right. So this pretty much it to the point, you know what I'm saying? These pastors, they ain't preparing their flock for the MOTB. They ain't preparing them for Jacob's trouble. They ain't even told them who Esau was, all right, and that man was the devil, all right, the deceiver and their adversary, all right. They ain't even done that. So, you know, to be a Christian today, all right, is basically a death sentence, all right, because you don't know nothing, all right, and you don't know Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So, you know, that's pretty much it for the lesson. It's getting a bit lengthy. I ain't wanted to go too long. Just wanted to, you know, speak a little bit on what was coming to you, false leaders of Israel, all right. And again, this was inspired by Elder Matazakbai, all right, the elder out of South Carolina. So that's pretty much it for the lesson. Lord willing, it was edifying, flowed together, and made sense. All honor, glory, and praise go to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the apostles, the elder bishops, and elders of the great millstone. Peace and salutation to the elect, Kwam Yasharala, and a Bible ball. Shalom.